Hey YouTube, we've been getting a lot of feedback from people who have really reacted to the story about Bryan Fischer, who works for the American Family Association as a religious right-wing conservative pundit, and comments he made that children of gay families should be kidnapped and taken along an underground railroad to safety. Now, this comment, when I heard it, really pissed me off to no end. As a father and as a same-sex parent, I couldn't believe what had come out of this man's mouth. But first, before I get going, I maybe should give you a little bit of background. Okay, Bryan Fischer works for a group called the American Family Association, which is sort of a political action group / religious organization that basically does what the National Organization for Marriage does and the Family Research Council. They lobby lawmakers to stop gay equality and gay rights in any way, and they try to advance what they call family values, which most of the time really is just fighting people of other religions and us, the gay people. Bryan Fischer really has a long and checkered past as being really out there on the super fringe, and most of the comments he's made have been so beyond the pale and over the top that most people's consensus about him was just not to pay any attention to him at all. He said things like Hitler surrounded himself with gay people because only gay people were savage enough to do the terrible things that were done during World War II under the Third Reich. And let's see, where else? I had to get notes. It was that voluminous. I had to make notes. Homosexuality gave us Adolf Hitler, and homosexuals in the military gave us the brown shirts, the Nazi war machine, and 6 million dead Jews. That is a direct quote from Bryan Fischer. He has also likened us to heroin abusers and suggested that we be treated with the same criminal sanctions that drug users are sanctioned with. So we really get his point of view. He doesn't like us. He thinks we should be criminalized and that we should not have children. But why he's in the news today began with a pair of tweets he made in conjunction with a couple of news stories that involve gay parents. The first one was the story of Lisa Miller, who was in the news almost 2 years back, anyway, quite a while back, in which she took her adopted daughter. She was in a same-sex relationship with another woman. That relationship fell apart. She took her daughter and took off to Nicaragua and basically kidnapped her and left her partner with no recourse. Now, Bryan's picked this up because the pastor who helped them escape across the border has recently gone up to trial, and he's speaking up in support of him. His comment was basically, head of Underground Railroad to deliver innocent children for same-sex household goes on trial. And a second article in which he makes the comment, why we need an Underground Railroad to deliver innocent children from same-sex households. And that was an article written by Robert Oscar Lopez, in which basically he blames all his problems on life because he was raised by two moms. Now, I really don't want to go into Lisa Miller's story or Robert Oscar Lopez's stories. Those are their own thing, and they're just kind of crazy the way they are. But for Bryan Fischer to make the comments he made really goes beyond the pale. With Chick-Fil-A, we've talked a lot about First Amendment rights and freedom of speech and the right to be able to say whatever we want to say. And I think for most of Bryan Fischer's history, he said some really terrible things about gay people, and no one has ever stood up and said that he should be penalized or anything done to him because of the things he said. He can say whatever he wants about me. But when it comes down to my kids, you don't get to go there. Okay, you don't get to go there for anybody's kid. If so much as one child is kidnapped based off Bryan Fischer's words, he owns the responsibility for that. And this is as bad as the Gabrielle Giffords shooting, in which the same rhetoric that had been going on around the country talking about militias and war, became a part of some crazy young man's mental world, and he actually did go out and shoot somebody. So Bryan Fischer's words do have an impact on the world around him and do have consequences. This to me is as bad as the old shouting fire in a movie theater canard, the thing that we're always told we can never do and is not covered by freedom of speech. I will not sit by and let my family be threatened. Bryan Fischer before has said that he would support having sexually immoral people stabbed with spears, like they did in biblical days. And yes, I have proof. I will put all of this in links down below in the video. You can say whatever you want about me, but when it comes down to my kids, that's going way beyond. I don't support this, and I do think Bryan Fischer should come under some kind of action for his words. That's my 2 cents on the matter. Now, for those who think that we're giving Bryan Fischer far too much coverage and too much attention when he's pretty much just an extreme right-wing nutbag, that's all good until somebody really does get hurt. These words really need to be called out, and they need to be spoken to. People need to realize that these are the words that lead parents to disown their kids when they come out to them, to do violence to them when they do. It makes it okay for people to look at another gay person and consider them less than human, to do them violence in any way, whether it's a gay bashing, to fire them from their jobs. The list goes on. I don't even know how to cover it all. It makes me angry, and obviously it brings up a lot of energy. But this is one of those situations where I think Bryan Fischer has a responsibility to own his words. And own them he did. He actually made a second video in which he defended it, saying he just feels that if an activist judge is going to give custody of a child to a parent who's not biologically related and who he repeatedly refers to as the lesbian, then, an underground railroad should be created to help the biological parents spirit their children away to safety. That might have been his ultimate intention in saying those words, but the fact of the matter is that his animus and his viewpoint shows through loud and clear. He's one of those people who thinks we have no place in society, and he has the ears of presidential hopefuls. It's time we speak up about this, and time we counteract words like these by telling the public the truth. So, YouTube, that's my 2 cents. I want to hear yours, and I want everybody out there who feels as passionately about this as I do to get out there and make some noise about it. Talk to you later.